Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Charlie and we are starting a fire. What wood would you pick? I don't know. I would pick hash, maybe hemp, maybe cannabis for the aroma of Christ. Yes, welcome to a 420 Bible study and Torah tour where the daily bread is not bread or water. It's the aroma of the air, the new air, the cloud. And it speaks. And it waters and purifies the temple, the heart, and the mind. And God says, the smell of my son. So today we're going to be in Ezra 5, Ezra 5. Ezra Sink, S-A-N-K, Sink, S-I-N-K, or C-A-N-C, or C-A-N-Q. Oh my goodness, the language from French to Spanish to German to English, from Hebrew to Egyptian. We babble on and on and on and on and on again, and that's what I've learned in the last few years. Can you believe now it's going on 5 years? 5 years ago, Valentine's Day just passed, I actually had my third blood transfusion. And I was like, wait, the only thing I stopped doing for my family was I stopped smoking pot. Because it was wrong at the time. Because God would never say buy me pot. But then I found the word Calamus. And in Isaiah 43, God says, hey, you haven't bought any fragrant Calamus for me. Turns out that's the Greek word for Cana and Bosom, and that's the land where everything started, and Bosom is the fragrant branch in Hebrew. Fascinating journey. God's led me all the way because my spirit is flowing with this rush of energy, and it's pure and it's positive. So, if you like to get stoned, great. You enjoy his herb already. But if you actually want to join his team and fight for him and defend him like I do every day and say, wait, no, this plant is good and you actually should try it and you should learn the story and the history of his tree, well, then you get wisdom and honeycomb is like, the smell of my son. So at the 240 mark, Tatanay's letter to Darius. Dare I us? I dare you to have cannabis. The air is the dare. I don't know, just wordplay. All right, now we're going back and forth on these letters. There was the building of the temple earlier in Ezra 3, and then we had the burnt offerings prescribed daily each day. And then we had opposition to the temple, and we had a letter go back and forth, and here is Tatanay's letter to King Darius. Now Haggai the prophet and Zechariah the prophet, which you guys should know because you read them all the time, right? Anyways, go back and read Haggai and then read Zechariah. And then when you get to Zechariah 3:8, you're going to be way amazed because it says, I'm going to make you from filthy to clean with the aroma of the candle. So, Zechariah the prophet, a descendant of Idu, prophesied to the Jews. So we've got a Jewish person talking to Jewish people. In Judah and Jerusalem, in the name of God of Israel. In the name of the God of Israel. Now, I haven't opened up the Torah yet, but I know that says Hashem. So, Hashem is the God of Israel, and his name is like flowing oil. Okay, so he prophesied to the Jews in Judah and Jerusalem in the name of God of Israel, who was over them. Then Zerubbabel, son of Shealtiel, and Joshua, son of Josedek, set to work to rebuild the house of God in Jerusalem, and the prophets of God were with them, supporting them. Good. At that time, Tatanai governor of the Trans-Euphrates, which is really, in your mind, heaven and earth, and the chasm or Hashem in between, the air. At that time, Tattenai, governor of the Trans-Euphrates, and Sheethar, Bozani, and their associates went to them and asked, "Who authorized you to rebuild this temple and finish it?" They also asked, "What are the names of those who are constructing the building?" But the eye of their God was watching over the elders of the Jews, and they were not stopped until a report could go to Darius and his written reply be received. So there's a lot of interesting things going on in this video as we start, but it's a letter to King Darius, and it talks about rebuilding the temple and the house of God, which is now the body. And at that time, they had the prophets supporting them. So go back and read the prophets, right? Especially Haggai and Zechariah. And they ask a couple of questions, and that gets us to Q&A from the land of Cana. Who authorized you to rebuild the temple and finish it? Well, God authorized it, and it's going to be God who finishes it. And they also asked, what are the names of those who are constructing the building? Well, as doing more research on my full name, Charlie Doff, CDof, the doffering, de and of is French, and of is the same thing, of something. And Dofka is actually a German name that my dad told me I had, but then I found, as I was reading in Numbers 30, they camped on their journey at Dofka. And I'm like, Doff and the offering, and it turns out my name's all over this book. But what's really cool is, if my name's in the book, then my name is in the book, and that's why the revelations have come to me, because I chose the branch, not necessarily over my family, but I did, and that's what separated me, and that's why you might be separating yourself from the rest of the world. So, by the eye of their God was watching over them, the elders of the Jews, and they were not stopped until a good or a bad report could go to Darius and his written reply be received, which is the whole book. Now this is a copy of the letter that Tattenai, governor of Trans-Euphrates, and Sheethar, Bozani, and their associates, the officials of the Trans-Euphrates, sent, how do you spell that word, sent, to King Darius. The report they sent to him reads as follows. We're going to get back to that in the next video. But there is the beginning of the letter of conversation. And so King Darius can be King God, King Kong, King Bong. At that point, it says, this is a copy of the letter. Now, if it's a copy of the letter, is it written originally in Hebrew and transcribed into Greek? Have I found the transcription of the phone call or the letter? Yes. So the original transcription says, God, Hashem, is the only God, and hear, O Israel, and hear, O Christians, there is only one God, the God of Israel. Baruch Hashem, to starting a fire and filling the temple with the glory of God, the pillar of fire and the pillar of smoke. Because the pill that's hard to swallow is your pride. The pill that's easy to swallow is the new air. God bless him for Cana Bosom. Baruch Hashem.